welcome to Digital General's playthrough of the Ultimate General Union campaign. This is Game 2, it's still the first day, July 1st, and we just had a minor victory, so that's kind of historical where we were able to push back the early Confederate attacks. And now it's later in the day and we have to plan some strategy because we have some reinforcements coming in, but we know that there are Confederate forces coming from, I guess from west and northeast actually, so it's going to be quite the bottleneck. So we have basically the historical scenario, essentially defend the ridges and try to keep them north, and so 11th Corps would probably try to keep them out of Gettysburg, withdraw to Seminary Ridge and reinforce Cemetery Hill, so give up what we forget what we've kind of lost and just try to reinforce the two defensive points, or ignore Oak Hill and pull back even further. Okay, well, I'm feeling pretty good about defending, so I think I'll do this, withdraw to Seminary Ridge and reinforce Cemetery Hill. So I don't want to repeat history, I want to try something a little bit different and accept that the kind of northern plains of Gettysburg are not very defendable. It's open, and so let's pull back towards more defendable hills and try to hold them back there. Let's see how that goes. Alright, we're in game, so let's take a look at the briefing. Force-wise, we're almost even, but the Confederates have about 2,000 more troops coming in, which is sensible seeing how they're attacking, and I'm spread around a fairly large chunk of the map with this kind of bulging top victory point, so I'll have to make sure that they don't get swamped from 3 different sides. But of course that allows me to counterattack into the Confederate flank if they overcommit encircling this kind of top point, so that's actually potentially good. So our mission is to defend these points, and army details, so yeah, the 11th Corps is going to come in. Now, it's not the best corps, but it has a lot of units that will have to do the job. And because we're not leaving them kind of exposed up north, I think they'll do a solid job defending. And then 1st Corps, because we had fairly light losses, we still have some really good brigades, like Iron Brigade has seen almost no fighting, and Cutlass Brigade is also fairly fresh, so I'm feeling good about these guys. And then Confederates have obviously 3rd Corps, which has been chewed up, so that's great. And then 2nd Corps under Ewell will come in, which is all fresh, very strong, so they'll be quite the handful to deal with. Alright, let's get into the game and take a look at the map. Alright, we're in game, so let's take a look around the field. Okay, so we know that these guys already are beat up quite a bit. They'll be attacking down, but I know that Davis is shaky. You can see he's flashing, so that's good. Lane is pretty strong. Brockenbrough is really chewed up, and there's another brigade here that is probably reasonably strong, just judging by the number of soldiers. So, so this, I guess the western approach will be not too much of a problem. So I'm actually not feeling too bad on this. There's a ton of reinforcements, which there will be some, but I don't think it'll be the problem. I think the biggest, obviously, challenge will be the Ewell's attack from the top. And victory point-wise, that's also reflected because we've got 5,000 here and 5,000 here. So, you know, this is what we're all fighting about. Now I am starting with Culp's Hill in basically with my defenders on it, so that's great. And that's all 11th Corps, I'm assuming. Yeah, so that's all 11th Corps. So the good thing is that these brigades are pretty weak. You can see they're 1-star brigades, so they can't be expected to hold out against 2- or 3-star brigades, which will be coming down, unless they're really nicely fortified, which on this hill they are. So that's basically my ingenious plan, is to fortify up here and force the Confederates to attack up Culp's Hill early on now when they're still fresh, and basically break them while I have the soldiers to defend and wait for my reinforcements to come. Now the difficult thing for me will be holding the ridges here, because the 1st Corps will get hammered from both sides, and I don't know how well they can hold out. The good news is that I do have the Iron Brigade, which is essentially untouched. It's an excellent brigade, and Baxter is decent as well. And Cutler is decent, so I have some pretty good troops here that I think can hopefully hold the hill from these attacks, and depending on how the AI splits its forces between going down for Culp's Hill and attacking through Gettysburg, that's not bad. Alright, so let's do some initial orders. Okay, so the first things first is I want my artillery on this hill, because I think that's going to be critical for this battle. And yeah, I want to make sure that I have these brigades basically in position. Now, both Arms and Coster, which are all both one-star brigades, so again they're quite weak. I'm going to keep them as a reserve in the middle here, and I'll see whether they need to support left or right. Yeah, this battery, I'm going to put it on the hill as well. Alright, the vedettes are... yeah, they can't do much. They're almost broken. So I might get general up down there. So I'll just keep them here for now. I don't have a great idea for what to do with them. I might use them to scout out, but I know there's lots of forces coming from all over here, so there's not much scouting. But I might pull them out here to take a look at the enemy once they recover a little bit of morale, because with 14 they'll just rout right away, so that's not good. Alright, Bucktail is decent brigade. It took pretty serious losses, but it's quite demoralized, so I want to put them... yeah, let me get them back here. I basically want to set up a defensive perimeter like so, because then I can crossfire into the attackers, and I can, you know, not defend Gettysburg, because it's a meaningless... strategically speaking, this town is not meaningful to hold, so let me just get out of there. Alright, Iron Brigade, let's pull them in. Yeah, Baxter and Cutler, let's get him protected. Alright, skirmishers are part of Buford, so yeah, let's pull them back as well. They'll probably get routed right away if they engage with any of these brigades, so that's fine. I just want to push them back and let them harass the enemy. Maybe later on. We'll see how the battle develops. And you know what? Actually, no. I want someone on this ridge, because that'll be silly if I left this open and the AI would just walk right through and flank me. I don't know when my reinforcements are coming, so in fact, you know what? Why don't I run Custer? He has a lot of condition because it's fresh troops, so that's probably the better way to do it. And I'm expecting most of my fighting to be on this side, so I'll keep my commander here. And where is my first corps commander? Yeah, first corps commander can pull back a little bit too, because we'll be defending here. Alright, I think we're good to go. Yeah, we can see that Scales is advancing already, but that's fine. Alright, Biddle, let's turn to face this way. Skirmishers are running into cannon fire, and they're just going to route back. I'm not too worried about that. Scales is coming, so... alright, why don't we get the Iron Brigade to intercept him in case he does want to flank me. Oh, I missed Cooper. I need this gun up here. Here, and let's just pop in a couple of movements, but that's fine. Alright, they're setting up, Confederates are setting up quite the monster battery, but because I have decent cover, I'm not panicked about that yet. I think I'll be okay. get the skirmishers back even further. I don't want them to be just routed by the big Confederate brigades right away. That makes no sense. So we pull them back, give them some morale boost, and just let them recover, and then maybe be useful later on in the battle. Alright, Davis is forming for an attack, but he's wavering to start the attack, so I'm not too worried. Same with Lane. No, actually Lane's not wavering, but he's not too numerous, so I think I'll be okay. Pettigrew is really strong brigade, so I think the AI is probably saving him for an attack when the rest of his forces show up, or a little bit later on. Alright. Yeah, Coster's in a good position. Let's unrun him, hold him. Yeah, Davis is already pulling back. That's as expected. Yeah, actually, I like what. For me, this is really good because he's marching a couple of small brigades into my guns and a big infantry brigade, so they're just going to get pushed back. I'm not worried about that at all. Just going to double check there's no other troops here. Nope. All right. Okay, I wonder if I can push up a little bit with the Iron Brigade and just put some pressure on these two brigades, because I don't want them recovering too easily. I do want them to have a bit of a stress. So this is a little bit of a counterattack, but not, I mean, counterattack's overstating it. I just want to not allow these brigades to just sit there and fire on me. Good, so that's forcing Lane to advance. Let's move up with Biddle, so we'll have two brigades, and put some pressure. How are these guys doing? They're recovering slowly, so that's fine. They'll give them time. And same with the vedettes. Alright, good. Perfect, so Davis is taking a lot of losses and he breaks, so that's exactly what I wanted to see. He'll probably rally because I think it's a fairly strong brigade, but that's okay. I just wanted him to have something to think about. Alright, our brigade advance in Lane, so that he's 2-1 on brigades, and push up the cannon. And here, as I was saying, this tiny brigade, Brockenbrough, was unable to do anything. This is just basically throwing them out. Good, and that breaks Lane, so again, there's just too much fire coming at him. And the nice thing is that Davis will now route kind of this way, through my artillery fire, away from his general, so even if he rallies, he'll have a really low morale, and I don't expect him to be much trouble later on. So this is early part of this battle, which is midday, and as you can see, I've got massive numerical superiority with 17,000 to 8,000. So these early Confederate pushes are not going to do anything, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and the Ewell forces to come down this way. Our Davis seems to have rallied, but he is still shaky, so I'm sure he'll break again pretty quickly. Now Scales is running into Gettysburg, which is fine, so let's maybe intercept him with Bucktail. And good, Iron Brigade can engage him as well. Anything on this side? No, we're good. Alright. Yeah, I want to flank Scales with Bucktail. Good, Scales is wavering and withdrawing, that's fantastic. And Bucktail can probably actually rout Davis again if they just engage him, because he's wavery and he's taking a lot of losses. So I'm not expecting him to be able to take a lot of fire, and I don't want him to recover. Now he is under artillery fire, which affects his recovery rate, but a bunch of guys shooting muskets into him will affect it even more. So let's get that going. All right. Oh no, that's lane. I thought this was reinforcements already, but it's not. Rhodes maneuvers towards us from the northwest. Okay, so we're seeing the first elements of the Ewell's Brigade showing up. That's as expected, but bad news for me. And this site is really quiet. You know, the Stewart gun, I think I want it here. Yeah, I need to, I think, shift my resources a little bit. Now that some forces are showing up here, the eye is pushing Pettigrew, so Pettigrew is an issue. So, oh, I should have turned my guys before. Now Bucktail is under fire. Where's my commander? First Corps. Yeah, go support Bucktail. Because I don't want him to rout. Okay, so now the forces are showing up. Let's pull back. Yeah, we need to now prepare for this massive onslaught. Okay, Pettigrew seems to be doing some sort of a flanking maneuver, which is fine. He'll just kind of run in front of my guns and not worried about that. I'm just going to get Paul to hold. It's a weak brigade, but it's fairly numerous. I do have guns. I think I should be okay. Yeah, should be okay. Alright, let me get the Iron Brigade into the mix here and be able to face this way. So this hill, now that Pettigrew's here in the open getting cannonaded, I'm pretty sure this flank's okay for now, so Cutler and Baxter can definitely hold it, and I need some quality brigades to help me hold that flank. So yeah, let's do that. Bucktail can now turn and face. Now vedettes, let's get you guys, and the skirmishers, let's get you out. Kind of being overprotective of these skirmishers, but I just know that they'll get wiped as soon as they get engaged, so let's not do that. Von Gilsa is, yeah, let's get him to turn and face. And turn and face. Push up Kurzanowski. And Smith. I wish I had a couple more guns up here, so I might need to reshift. Oh, okay, so Pettigrew and Perrin are both coming up this side. So Baxter probably needs to shift over as well. And let's get Coster as well. This is just to have more muskets coming to this side, because otherwise he will rout. Where is my commander for 11th? Yeah, no, he's... Oh, good, we're getting a couple more guys. Let's get them up here ASAP. By ASAP, I mean, let's run. Okay, Doles is taking some massive hits from the artillery, that's great. The EI is setting up a bit of a front through Gettysburg, so I'm okay with that as long as he's taking fire from me as well, then we're good. Iron Brigade can be my backbone, and we're good to go. So, yeah, I want you firing his flank. And Baxter, just form up. Alright. Smith, I want you to hold. Back. Biddle's look. He's doing okay. Keep on checking the canister fire range because it's the AI is really good at knowing what the canister range is, and they tend to stand kind of just like right outside, like, you know, kind of here. But I don't have that laser pointer in my eye, so usually it's nice to click on an artillery and just check their fire. These guys doing? They're okay, so stop running because now you've covered most of the distance and you're part of the first corps. Okay, good. So let's get you closer to the first corps command here. Alright, that's perfect. Good. Doles is running now too. We're not doing too badly actually. Let's just stop Biddle. Yeah, they should be able to hold. So Perrin is taking quite a lot of fire. Let's triple it up. And Pettigrew is shaky, so I'm not worried about it. It's a big brigade, but they took a lot of losses, and they'll probably rout if they get hammered again. Alright, Scales is doing a nice flanking maneuver, so I think Cutler needs to turn to face, because I don't see infantry coming this way, it's just artillery, which is fine. Baxter will just move to engage, and hopefully not get too chewed up by artillery. And I just want to concentrate a lot of fire on Perrin before Pettigrew shows up. And hopefully shock break him. Got range, yep. Good stuff. Biddle's getting... Okay, let me turn him. I don't like the fact that he's being flanked by Scales. That's bad. So let me engage Scales with Cutler and take some of the pressure off of Biddle. And Bucktail's getting a bit of chewed up, so let me pull them back and put an Iron Brigade here to hold this center. Alright, Rhodes is coming in with massively more men. Okay, so there you go, that's the... So, you know what, standard, it's a 1-star brigade, but it's first, and I need him up there. I'm gonna risk running. Condition is down to 54, which is not great, but I want to make sure that he succeeds. Okay, so Baxter is now a little bit open. Good thing is I do have 2 guns on Pettigrew. Perrin withdrew out of my fire range, which is as expected, but let me push up with Custer a little bit just because I don't want him resting. That's the main thing. The AI is doing a nice job of forming a bit of a flank, and so that's why I need to make sure that I have a lot of guys here to withstand this. But the main thing is I have artillery, which I will now redirect to fire at Daniel. I'm kind of weak here on my infantry, so I'm a little bit concerned. Oh, good. Okay. So the right flank got blown away, so now I can take Baxter and push him up here to reinforce that hill. Okay, good. Now the standard can stop running. Just set up. You can hold, you can switch to canister and turn to face. Alright, this side's looking good. There's way too much of a killing field here. It's very difficult to attack for the AI because it's uphill, so I think there's some speed penalties and there's no cover, and they're walking into a lot of gunfire, so I'm not worried about that. Might have to pull back. He's quite heavily outnumbered. He's in okay cover, so I definitely need Baxter to come up here and relieve. And you know what? I'm gonna push Buckdale as well. They're a little bit chewed up, but I just need their numbers. Standard can rest a little bit, that's good, and then he can put his 2,000 men into good defensive position in a minute. Alright, lots of artillery coming down this way, which will be not good for my guys, but fortunately I have a lot of cover, so at this range I'm not too concerned. It's going to eat into morale, but that's not bad. Okay, the attack broke again, so now O'Neill is wavering. I'm still not going to throw my Iron Brigade into too much of a counter charge. I think it's too early? Maybe not. Maybe now's the time. Yeah, let's see if they can maybe break O'Neill a little bit. A little bit aggressive. I'm feeling good. It's near the end. I'm not seeing the Confederate brigades threatening me too much, so I think this is a good time to push up with Iron Brigade and Von Gilsa. Even though Von Gilsa is not very strong, it's a reasonably sizable 1,000-man brigade, so they can push. Okay, good. So O'Neill is now breaking. Fantastic, which means he's just wavering. I want to be able to swing up this way and maybe break through out of Gettysburg as well. More rebel artillery from the west. That would be a concern if I was in the open, but I'm covered, so that's okay. Alright, Iron Brigade can now swing up. They've killed 800 to 180, so they've been butchering the Confederate forces. Absolutely butchering them. Alright, we can get Standard now in there. And Cutler can move back a little bit because he is quite beat up. So I don't mind bloodying Standard a little bit. It's a 2,000-man one-star brigade. They can just get in there, get meat grindered. That's fine. More than happy with that. Okay, Baxter I want to hold. I do not want him to be withdrawing. Okay, good. Versen has now been pushed back. And Von Gilsa is now going to be engaging these brigades, which means that Iron Brigade can swing into there as well. Let's push up arms. Or aims? Aims or arms? Aims. Yeah, aims. And the battle's about to be over because the Confederates are not making any progress. Oh, more attacking. So I think they'll just get pulled back. which is fine, because the point of this battle was to delay the enemy and wait for my reinforcements, and I've done that, and it is an epic victory. I will happily take an epic victory outcome. Now, it's a bit of an overstatement, I think, because in terms of losses, it was only 4,000 casualties on Confederate side, which means that the bulk of their forces is still quite strong, but strategically they've achieved none of the objectives, and I had a fairly low cost, so that's pretty good. And just looking at how the armies went, so yeah, so mostly Confederate brigades taking losses, Union brigades doing most of the killing, but order of battles where I really like to look at it. So 1st Corps 19 and 11th Corps, yeah, essentially took no losses almost at all, which is quite a different outcome than the real late July 1st. So 11th Corps was basically spared any kind of real fighting, and the 1st Corps just essentially held back the enemy. Now on the Confederate side, so Hill came in and actually ended up losing 31, so that's pretty heavy. That's heavier than I thought. So both Heath and Pender's divisions took quite the beating. Yeah, and actually, Archer's brigade just got... Okay, both Archer and Bruckenbrough basically disappeared. 80% losses both, so they must have been caught in that crazy crossfire. And Pettigrew had almost half. So, and then Davis had 60%. Wow, yeah, okay, so no, actually Confederates took some pretty significant losses to a couple of their divisions. So that's good. That will help me up in the next day. Great. Okay, well, cool. Let's see how it keeps on going.